Carlos Mendoza holds his first New York Mets press conference, gives us a lot of nuggets out of it, including things on Jett Williams, Acuna, and Brett Beatty. We're going to break all of it down next on MetCast. Welcome back to MetCast, friends. As always, I am Rain. If you're enjoying this content, I just ask you to like and subscribe. Make sure you turn on that notification bell so you never miss a New York Mets upload. And today is day one of Carlos Mendoza and his first press conference. Before we get to that, I seen something from Jeff Passan. We all know that we've been screaming for a frontline starter for the New York Mets, and we have this from Jeff Passan. Michael King is far less likely to be traded than Dylan Cease. And when I see something like that, it really makes me think, are they going to trade Dylan Cease? That 3.5 ERA, it makes so much sense for the New York Mets. They're trying to get away from that high salary, as we all know. So maybe the Mets are able to swing a trade. I don't think it was going to cost an absolute ton, but that remains to be seen. But the reason why we're all here is because of the bomb that I feel Mendoza dropped at the press conference. You're going to hear him talk about a couple of different prospects and where he sees them potentially playing throughout spring training. Let's get to it. So the first clip that I want to get to, Carlos Mendoza talks about Jett Williams and where he could see him starting spring training. Let's look.
And are Jett Williams and Luis Angel Acuna going to play the outfield?
Jett Williams is going to get some reps in center field. Acuna,
He just says it nonchalant. He's going to get some reps in center field. That is huge. It's absolutely huge when we're talking about the New York Mets and their future. Let's not forget Jose Siri, not a good hitter, great defender. Tyron Taylor, a career backup center fielder. The Mets are going to be looking for their long-term solution out in center field. And when he says Jett Williams is going to be taking some reps, I know a lot of Met fans are saying, well, Williams didn't put up great numbers last year. He broke his wrist. He had surgery. He came back, didn't hit right away. And he did an interview recently. I forgot where it was, but I think it was with MLB Network, and he was talking about how he really worried about his wrist when he first returned, trying to find his hand placement in regard to his swing, and it kind of messed him up a little bit, but he's ready to go right now. Another thing you're going to be surprised by, Jett Williams has a tremendous eye at the plate, one of the best eyes in MLB farm system. That's why he's easily a top 60 ranked MLB prospect coming into this season. Will probably be higher as the season goes on, and I could see him up here fairly early, depending on what happens with Jose Siri. If he's going to be hitting in the 180s as if he did last year, I could see the Mets maybe making him the fourth outfielder, using his speed off the bench and giving Acuna that shot, him or Drew Gilbert. But Acuna has crazy speed to burn. He's a pure athlete, and he actually spoke during the interview that he intends to continue to develop at shortstop, but the New York Mets did inform him that they're going to try him at other positions. Those positions include second base, shortstop, uh, and the outfield, center field, most notably. So it's really exciting to hear that the Mets are finally moving him off center shortstop, which tells me that he's getting very close to making his debut at the major league level. He talked about what it meant to be in big league camp last year around big leaguers, watch them prepare, watch how they acted, and I fully expect him to take advantage of that this spring.
we want to give him a look at third base as well. So don't be surprised if you see an infield alignment of Acuna at third, Beatty at second, Madrigal at four, and again. So because we want to see those guys what they can do in certain days. So as I'm sit here, I'm probably gonna keep Acuna in the dirt. That doesn't mean we're taking outfield out of the equation.
That is also another nugget right there. I know Mendoza doesn't want to shut anything down. Of course, nobody wants to when you have athletes like Acuna and Jett Williams. But let's be honest, by him saying we want to keep him in the dirt, that tells us right there. I 100% believe that Luis Angel Acuna is the successor at second base, especially if Jeff McNeil continues to struggle. I still think Acuna starts the year off in AAA, but he's going to be right on the precipice, probably one of the first guys to come up, but it shows you what an athlete he could be. They're trying him out at third base. They already know he's a very solid shortstop, well above average shortstop, could play shortstop on just about any major league team, but he's got a Hall of Famer in front of him in Francisco Lindor. He could play second base, but they're trying to keep him on the dirt, which tells me the New York Mets are valuing probably Jett Williams and Drew Gilbert in the outfield, and they're going to keep Acuna in the infield. We obviously know he's not a threat to take over Mark Viento's job at third base, but maybe they're saying, let's get a look at him now while it doesn't count, because the Mets are always not just looking for this year, but it's the next year and beyond. If Pete Alonso ends up leaving and the Mets say don't get a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. or don't fill that first base hole, maybe they could say, you know what, when we saw last year Acuna could easily handle third base in spring training, almost kind of like what the New York Yankees did with Jazz Chisholm, moving him from third to second. He can kind of play a little bit all over the place. I think the Mets view Acuna that exact same way. So if they were going to say, hey, we're going to move Mark Vientos over to first base and we're going to play Acuna at third base, they're going to feel more than comfortable. But to me, the biggest takeaway is Jett Williams getting reps in center field. He was so adamant about developing over a shortstop, which I think he's still going to do. He's going to be one of those MacGyver types, but I think he is clearly the future center fielder for this team. Maybe Drew Gilbert plays right field. I don't know if Juan Soto would be willing to move over to left field, but with his hiccups in the defensive side, maybe that's a future lineup. I think the New York Mets this season are going to be designated hitting Brandon Nimmo very frequently throughout the year, trying to get him off his feet. And you'll see Jesse Winker playing a lot of left field. But if everything was good and say Drew Gilbert and Jett Williams turn out to be the great players that these prospects are supposed to be, which, let's be honest, it's less than a 50% hit rate. So odds are one of them is not going to even be a really good major league talent. But if it does happen, does come to fruition, I could see a future outfield alignment of Soto in left. You could have a Williams in center with that speed and that absolute cannon of Drew Gilbert in right field. And it actually, it's spring training. I understand that, but I'm getting hyped. I hope you're getting hyped. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Are you excited about Jett Williams getting those reps in center field? Acuna being only in the infield, it tells us it's the roadmap of the future. The New York Mets view Williams probably as an outfielder and Acuna as an infielder, as he has more of an electric arm, especially from the left side of the diamond field, to ever take over at shortstop. But that's where I see him going right there. Now, another clip of Mendoza talking about the New York Mets lineup and how he could see the configuration happening. Let's give it a look.
Carlos, you have a lot of good names for that lineup. Now, I'm going to assume
Yeah, we
Lindor's
do.
the leadoff hitter. Do you have it in your mind? Who's 2, 3, and 4 from there? I know Boone came out last year and said Soto, Judge 2 and 3, and stuck with it.
Yeah, I got to sit down and talk to Juan and talk to Pete and talk to when Pete passes his physicals.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were contacting me over at X yesterday and on Facebook. Why isn't Pete Alonso listed on this official training camp roster? Because technically he hasn't passed his physical yet. So the New York Mets would be violating league rules if they were to list him on the official depth chart. So if he passes his physical, I'm assuming tomorrow it's going to happen, maybe later today, but probably tomorrow. Then you'll see him added onto that spring training schedule.
With the end, Nemo. The good thing, John, is we got some really good options here, and whether you go Soto, second, third, Lindor, Pete, Vientos,
That's
you feel good
incredible.
about your chances, right? So again, too early. I've been playing around. I'm not gonna lie. I've been playing around what it's gonna look like if we go.
Haven't we all been? Haven't we all been dreaming? I've been thinking in my head, how do we extend this lineup to a no doubt 5 deep? Nimmo, don't try to jack the ball out of the outfield. Just get on base. You could start off with something like a Lindor, Nimmo, Soto, Alonso, Vientos fifth, and then potentially if Alvarez has that breakout season, which I think we are all projecting could be the deepest 1 through 6 in baseball, right up against the Dodgers.
Go this way. What about if we go that way? But who we're facing. I mean, when talking about a guy like Soto, I don't know, but again, I got to have those
Isn't that funny? He goes, depending on who we're facing, righty, lefty, well, except for Soto, because that's how great he is.
conversations with them.
Guys, we have Juan freaking Soto on this team. It still hasn't clicked. Just think about it. The first spring training game when you're going to see him up there, walking to the plate, doing the Soto shuffle on opening day, which I will be at. And we're going to be doing an event at opening day. We plan on it. I want to do a live podcast there. Myself, Dan, potentially our other guy, Pat. I don't know who's going to be there, but I know I'm going to be there. I will be bringing my equipment with me. I want to do a live. I want to meet as many of you guys as possible. Get your predictions on not only the game, but the season, your reactions to Soto, where you see this pitching staff being. How do you feel about the minors? I want to chat it up with you guys. So if you're going to be at opening day, let me know down in the comments.
And let it kind of play out and see what's best for the players, what's best for the team, and then we'll go from there.
We can.
This is probably the most exciting that I feel that I have been entering a season in such a long time. I would still like the Mets to acquire one more starter, but I really feel like if the Mets are in it at the trade deadline and David Stearns feels we really have a shot. Look what he did last year. I feel like he's going to go for it and he'd be willing to give up the prospects for it. But that's what we got for you guys today. If you enjoyed this content, like and subscribe. As we always, I appreciate each and every single one of you. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss an upload. I believe Dan and I will be doing a live Thursday night. I'm working on a very, very special guest for this Thursday. I'm going to find out only on Thursday if they're available. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We'll still end up going live with you guys. We'll be having Pat Ragazzo back on the program from Sports Illustrated. We also spoke to Will Salmon. Hopefully get him on very shortly. But I appreciate you all hanging out with us. And as the Met content comes in, I'll be sure to bring it to you. Until next time, take care.